Hello, everyone. Ketchy1383 with Ketchy Gaming. And Mario Kart World has been out for a week at this point. And some of you, like me, may have wondered about certain characters and how to unlock them. Straightforward for the most part, just play the Grand Prix and you will unlock a good chunk of them. Now, some of you may have noticed there are some particular characters that are unlocked that are more or less related to Bowser's minions. There are a few that aren't technically Bowser's minions, but when you sort them, they're in the same category. When you select a character, and if you haven't unlocked all the skins yet, you can come across the silhouettes of the costumes you have yet to unlock for what characters. And that's when you might come across one particular silhouette. Here, with clearly a piranha plant and a Goomba. So if you're like me, you may have mistaken this for a character. It is not. It is a placeholder for the various characters you can unlock. In particular, 11 different characters. And if you've been playing for a little bit, you may have noticed this easily, or maybe just didn't notice because of what was happening at the moment. But these characters are unlocked when you get a specific item, and then Kamek zooms through the opponents and transforms them. When you transform your opponent, or if you get transformed, I should say, you unlock that character, which is kind of annoying. For one, that item actually seems to rarely appear. And I unlocked actually a handful of them just from playing through the Grand Prix a couple of times, as well as a knockout race. But for the most part, some of these are kind of irritating to get. One in particular that I will go over. But I suppose if you played long enough, you'd eventually unlock all of them. But if you're like me, you're like challenge accepted and find a way to cheese it, which I did. So this is going to require some setup and at least two controllers. First, go to multiplayer. Have your controllers there. You don't need a second player. Go to versus races. Select whatever characters. It doesn't really matter. Same for the kart. Once you've selected the characters, you'll have a screen here. I don't think it really matters with 150cc, but just in case, put it on 150cc. No teams. No computers, that's the big one, and you want to have open races for multiple reasons. And then here, you're going to select whatever course you're going for. For instance, let's start with Spike. Spike is on the Whistle Top Summit course. And we'll just go in order. The next one is Swoop, who can be found in Dandelion Depths. Then we have Peepa, who can be unlocked in Boo Cinema. Next is Chargin' Chuck, who can be unlocked on DK Spaceport. Coin Coffer, who can be unlocked on Cheap Falls. Rocky Wrench, it's a variation of another character, can be unlocked on the Airship Fortress course. Cataquack can be unlocked on Peach Beach. Dolphin, yes, just Dolphin, can be unlocked on Koopa Troopa Beach. Conch Door can be unlocked on the Faraway Oasis. Pianta can be unlocked on Mario Circuit. Fishbone is the exception to all these because it can be unlocked in only one place. And that can only be done on a race between Dry Bones Burnout and Toad's Factory, and vice versa. Now for the setup of how you're going to do this. Once you have both players ready to go. Once the race starts, you're going to take your first player or whatever player you want to be transformed and race ahead of the other one. You're going to get to a point where you kind of want to stop. Now, the items that you get is determined by the distance from the person in front of you. So that is key. So if you're getting a lot of mushrooms, stars, bullet bills, and super mushrooms, you've gone too far. If you're getting a lot of bananas and coins, you're too close. You want that in between, and I think there's a bit of a sweet spot where you're more likely to get the item to summon Kamek than other distances. I'm not entirely sure. I've only managed to get up to 3 in one go, and I feel like that's extremely lucky because a lot of the times I don't get any. And what I mean by that is there's actually a timer that you cannot see. It'll eventually end the race. So that's why you want to boost that up to 32. Anyways, you want to catch up with the second player, and when you get there, you'll grab any of the item boxes. It could be the doubles, it could be the singles. I haven't seen a correlation between it being more likely in either one. And if there's an item, let's say like a bullet bill that you did grab, all you have to do is turn around and face the wrong way on the track, and you'll be picked up and I'll take away your item. Now, a guide I did read said that you just use the items. You don't need to. You just need to turn around, and you'll eventually still get it either way. So based on the items you're getting, you'll either reverse, because if you reverse, it does not pick you up and take you away. If you turn around completely, it will. So reverse or go forward depending on the distance. It doesn't really make a difference as long as you get that gap to where you want it. And you'll start being able to get it when you get like shells, hammer bro hammers, the coin boxes, and stuff like that. And then you know you're in the right place. So what you do is you can use the items, then turn around and get picked up. It's that easy. You do it until you get the item you're looking for, which is literally called Kamek, which I think I called him Kamek earlier, but who cares? So things of note. Just because you have the Kamek item doesn't guarantee that you will unlock the particular racer just because you're on the correct course. Some of these, like I said, I unlocked before I started actually intentionally going for. Like charging Chuck here, I got during maybe might have been a Grand Prix or maybe one of the knockout races. I'm not entirely sure. And there's a fairly good chance that you will have to get it multiple times, and on top of that, you may not get it at all before the timer runs out, and you'll just have to restart the course all over again and set up the whole entire scenario. Another thing you need to take note of is your positioning of the driver you want to be transformed. Right here on Faraway Oasis, it has 2 paths. It took the upper one and not the lower one, and I did not get that potential transformation. It sucked. It happened a couple of times here or there, so you can't tuck your way off to the side. You have to be more or less in the middle of the track. So if there's like an enemy or something or a hazard in the middle of the track, you want to try and keep your distance as best as possible. It's exceptionally annoying and very tedious. It can actually take quite a bit of time before you actually unlock all those drivers. Like a half an hour can go by just to get one of them easily. And that's a way to cheese it, but they may nerf that, who knows. Especially after they see this. Hopefully they don't. But who knows, it's Nintendo. They do stuff like that all the time. And once you have all the characters, your character select screen will look something like this, with all the silhouettes gone. So that means you have all the characters that they put out for the time being. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Have a good one.